Welcome to the Salt Creek High School class of 2019 graduation. Please stand for the processional and remain standing for the posting of colors, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
Fire. Halt. Land. Hey. Present. Color.
Please join me in our pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You may be seated.
Order. Color. Right. Hey. Over. Four.
At this time, I would like to take this time to introduce our special guest. State Representative Mr. Mike Carter. State Senator Mr. Bo Watson. Hamilton County Commissioner Mr. Randy Fairbanks. Kelly Puckett, Representative for Senator Marsha Blackburn. Hamilton County School Board Member Ms. Rhonda Thurman. HCDE Chief of Staff Dr. Nakia Towns Edwards. North River Learning Community Executive Director Dr. Neely Parker. And special guest Dr. Ternay Jordan Sr. Accompanying Dr. Jordan, Minister Morris Beatty. Thank you.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, family members, friends, siblings. Thank you for being here to support us. I would like to tell you about a teacher who I love dearly, who's not only a teacher, but a friend and a mentor, as I'm sure all the students could also agree with. This is Miss Benefield. She grew up in Soap Creek community, and she graduated from Soap Creek High School in 1987. Because of her love for literature and her desire to share that passion with her students, she pursued a bachelor's degree in secondary college English literature through Chattanooga State Community College and the University of Tennessee at Chattanooga. She's been teaching for 27 years, and 15 of those years have been at Soap Creek Middle High School. In 2006, she was inducted into the Unum Teachers Hall of Fame, and when she's not teaching, she enjoys reading, spending time with her husband, her daughters, her dogs, her cats, and her horses. Would you please join me in a round of applause welcoming Ms. Benefield to the podium.
Thank you, honored guests, faculty, family, friends, and graduates. I'm humbled and honored to be selected as the teacher representative for this special occasion. Admittedly, this is a very bittersweet hour for me because I have watched these young men and women grow into the outstanding individuals whom we see before us today. And needless to say, with all of their strengths, their successes, their moments of mischief, their blunders, and their weaknesses, I have fallen completely in love with these people. Because you see, I truly love what I teach, but I love whom I teach even more. Graduates, I'm very proud of your accomplishments, and it brings me great joy to celebrate them with you today. Having been your English teacher, I would often hear you groan over having to read certain difficult passages. I would remind you that it was acceptable to have your own opinion as long as you would try to appreciate the author's purpose for writing the piece and the message that he or she wished to convey. However, today I want you to think about your purpose in the story of your life. The Oxford Dictionary defines purpose as the reason for which something is done or created or for which something exists. In consideration of your own life, the word purpose can conjure up confusion, questions, and doubt about what your life's purpose truly is. Many define this through their vocation, some through their relationships, and some through their faith. But what if I told you that I believe your purpose is the now, and that you have been living it all along, and that maybe all you need is to change your perspective? While planning the plot of their stories, many authors began with the end in mind. This helps them to work towards a specific goal in their stories while they develop the characters and the action along the way. So what if we lived our lives in the same manner? What if we lived each day with the end in mind? What if thinking about our end result in life developed our character and directed our steps along the way? Stephen Covey, author of The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, listed one of the habits as beginning with the end in mind. He believed in always having the end of our life as our frame of reference to evaluate everything else. In doing so, we can have a clear idea of our destination so that the steps we take are always in the right direction. If you recall, one day in class we analyzed a speech where the late Steve Jobs, the CEO of Apple, spoke of this very idea at a commencement ceremony. He said that when he was 17, he read a quote that went something like, "If you live each day as if it were your last, someday you'll certainly be right." It made a lasting impression upon him. He since would look in the mirror every morning and ask himself, if today were the last day of my life, would I want to do what I'm about to do today? And whenever the answer had been no for too many days in a row, he knew that he needed to change something. 6 years after giving that speech, he succumbed to cancer. However, he left a legacy as one who had changed the way that the world communicates and entertains. Last fall, one of my dearest friends passed away due to a terminal illness. Not long before her death, she told me that if she regretted anything at all about her life, it would be the worrying, stressing, and time spent over little details that did not really matter when it came down to what was truly important. I thought about this while reading from Henry David Thoreau's Walden. He wrote that life is frittered away by detail. How sad it is to think about how much nonsense we allow to spend away the precious seconds of our lives. This has caused me not only to live with gratitude, but also to question the value of my choices and the scheme of how I would look at my life when I reached its end. Thoreau would advise us all to live deliberately, to front only the essential facts of life, and to see if we could not learn what it had to teach, and not, when we came to die, discover that we had not lived. He would tell us to live deeply and suck out all the marrow of life. And this, my dear ones, is where our purpose lies. Whether it be our careers, our relationships, or just our daily walk of faith, we need to see each and every step as an opportunity that leads us to the legacy that we will leave behind. In consideration of whatever your vocation might be, many of you already know what you want to do and how you are going to achieve it, while many of you are undecided. I want to challenge you today, no matter what you do, no matter the prestige of your title or lack of, no matter the task, whether it be big or small, do it with honor and dignity. Not everyone will be a doctor or lawyer. Some of you might serve as teachers, police officers, or soldiers, or you might fulfill the necessary task of a garbage man or a custodian. You might even have the very important job of a stay-at-home parent or a caregiver. There are so many imperative roles to fulfill by hardworking individuals in this world. So whatever your role might be, do it as Martin Luther King Jr. would have you do when he said the following: if a man is called to be a street sweeper, he should sweep streets, even as Michelangelo painted, or Beethoven composed music, or Shakespeare wrote poetry. He should sweep streets so well that all the hosts of heaven and earth will pause to say, "Here lived a great street sweeper who did his job well." Aside from one's vocation, many find that their purpose in life derives from the love that they have for their family and friends. With this in mind, I challenge you to remember that what we know as the golden rule, to do unto others as you would have them do unto you. We have heard these words so often in our lives that I wonder if we truly understand what this requires of us. Even the closest relationships come with its own trials and adversity. Therefore, I challenge you with this. List the qualities of the ideal friend, and then be that friend. List the qualities of the ideal spouse, and then be that spouse. List the qualities of the ideal parent, and then be that parent. Every single relationship in which you value, live up to those qualities that you think others should possess. If you cannot live up to your own standards, check your heart, and be willing to forgive all others who cannot as well. We are all imperfect people who often fall short, so be willing to forgive not only yourself, but all others just as freely. Remember what we learned from Atticus Finch when we read To Kill a Mockingbird. He said, "You never really understand a person until you consider things from his point of view, until you climb into his skin and walk around in it." He also said, "Before I can live with other folks, I've got to live with myself." Therefore, remember that your actions and your words do have an impact. So be quick to listen, slow to speak, slow to anger, and to love all others as yourself, even those who are not easy to love. What credit can you give to your own character if you only love those who love you? The true test of how one loves is how they show love to the unlovable. According to poet and author Maya Angelou, people might be able to forget your words and your actions, but they will never forget how you made them feel. But what if you falter? What if you fail? Then you learn from it. You pick yourself right back up and you own your mistakes. Make them right if at all possible, and then move on as a stronger person because of them. C.S. Lewis said, "You can't go back and change the beginning, but you can start where you are and change the ending." It is in these moments where I find the solace in whom I personally have found my true purpose, in the author and finisher of my faith, the Lord Jesus Christ, the one who makes all things new, the one who gives new mercies every single day. Irish poet John Greenleaf Whittier wrote, "Before me, as well as behind, God is, and all is well. And it's in this where I find my hope." So whatever steps you take in the story of your life, remember, live with the end in mind and live it well. Your purpose is now. You are given the gift of life every single day in your little spot on the map of the universe. Only you can make a difference where you stand in that moment. Never cease in doing good to those around you and live each day with gratitude. Make the most of every opportunity, whether it be work, rest, worship, love, or play. Live for the legacy that you wish to leave behind. Arthur Frederick Buechner wrote, "One life on earth is all we get, whether it is enough or not enough." And the obvious conclusion would seem to be, at the very least, we are fools if we do not live it as fully and bravely and beautifully as we can. So go on then, make a beautiful life, and do as Walt Whitman would have you do. Celebrate it, and celebrate yourself. Then go out there and sound your barbaric yacht over the rooftops of the world.